A detainee says he fears for his life in an ICE concentration camp in America. It's being reported in international news. That and ProPublica is releasing handwritten notes from 8 children being held in the same detention center that Liam Ramos had been held in until a short while ago. My name is Dina Doll with the MeidasTouch Network. Let's get into this. Now, there's so much horrific news coming out of ICE, what they are doing on the American streets to American citizens, in addition to killing them, blatantly violating American citizens by physically abusing them, detaining them unlawfully, never mind what they're doing to undocumented people. Now, what they are doing inside the detention center hasn't been able to be reported as much. We have seen Congress people being denied access to it. Also, people being held in that detention center are often afraid of speaking out. Oftentimes, they are from families with mixed status, both documented and undocumented. These keeps people afraid of speaking out. Well, there's an Irish man detained in one of those facilities in El Paso, Texas. His name is Seamus Colton, and he spoke out to the Irish radio station. Take a listen to what he had to say.
I'm in fear for my life down here, honestly, because people have been killed by the staff here, by the security staff, and you just don't know what's going to happen on a day-to-day basis. You don't know if there's going to be riots. You don't know if there's going to be... You don't know what's going to happen.
The reason why we are not hearing that more often is not because it's not happening often. It is because most people are afraid of speaking out. Now, his particular situation, he has been detained for 5 months. He's from Boston. He originally had overstayed a 90-day visa, but is married to an American citizen and is going through the legal process. In fact, he was almost done with the legal process. He has not been able to appear for his final interview because he has been detained for 5 months. He was transferred to a facility in El Paso, Texas, and the conditions he described are horrific. And this is happening to somebody who is here legally because he's still going through the legal process. This is not about catching criminals. If you wanted to catch a criminal and deport them, you could go through the justice system because criminals by nature have been convicted through the justice system or on probation, or somehow the system knows that. When you're just snatching people off the streets or taking them from their courtroom, you are taking people oftentimes, as in this case, who are here legally, if not finished their citizen process. Now, this is also what he had to say. Not only is he saying he's afraid of the guards, which is not a surprise. We are seeing what ICE is doing on the streets in full view of the American people. Surely they are doing worse, if not the same, behind closed doors. This is also what he has to say about his conditions there.
The best way I could describe it is probably like a modern day concentration camp. It's a bunch of temporary tents. There's probably room for 1,000 detainees in each tent. I believe there's like 5 tents. I've been locked in the same room now for 4.5 months. I've had barely any outside time, no fresh air, no sunshine. I could probably count on both hands the amount of times I've been outside. So just locked in this room all day, every day. We've got 2 TVs on the wall. We get 3 meals a day, very, very small meals, kid-sized meals. So everybody's hungry, everybody's tired. We've got no commissary. We've got no options to get extra food or anything like that. And the conditions here are filthy. The toilets, the showers, completely nasty, very rarely cleaned.
It is stunning, but true, that under Trump, the American taxpayer is funding concentration camps. Conditions that are unconstitutional. According to our Constitution, you cannot be detained in a cruel or unusual way. That sounds like a cruel and unusual way. On top of it, the people detained in there have committed no crime. They have a civil infraction. If Trump wanted to deport people, he could just hire more judges. He wants to detain people because he wants another for-profit income stream for his oligarch buddies. The ICE budget that had been passed as part of that big, awful bill in the summer allocated about $35 billion for personnel, about $45 billion for detainment centers. You don't detain people if you want to deport them. And this is how they are detaining them in conditions that are so incredibly un-American and unconstitutional and inhumane. And the sad fact is this isn't just happening to adults. It is also happening to children. ProPublica, with really the most disturbing and sad report showing letters, handwritten letters written by children who are being detained in these same centers. The center in particular that ProPublica highlighted was the one that Liam Ramos was just in. We saw his particular condition, how despondent he had become, how it took the efforts of a Congressman Castro, his relentless efforts and attention to the matter to get that little boy released. And here is just some of the letters of the children, just some of the children that the American taxpayer is funding their detainment. A 9-year-old from Venezuela who was living in Houston is now been detained for 50 days says, quote, I miss my school and my friends. I feel bad since when I came here to this place because I have been here too long. 50 days in this detainment center. Another child, a 14-year-old from Honduras who is living in New York and has been detained for 45 days, says, since I got to the center, all you will feel is sadness and mostly depression. Children being detained for no reason. If you want to deport their family, you could hire more judges, not pay for their detainment. A 7-year-old from Venezuela who is living in Texas and has been detained for 70 days writes, I don't want to be in this place. I want to go to my school. There are so many Americans in this country that wants that child to go to his school as well. Another child, a 17-year-old from Venezuela who was living in El Paso, Texas, said, quote, one of the things that I could complain about is that they don't have varied food and it's almost the same and it bores me that it takes away my appetite. Again, this is what we saw with that one child, Liam Ramos, after such a short period of time. I'm all about the most efficient and effective skin and hair care routine, and it's even better when they're on sale. And the iRestore Illumina Face Mask and the iRestore Elite are on sale now for President's Day. They're having a special bundle sale. Now, the iRestore Illumina Face Mask is a dermatologist-recommended LED mask that delivers double the power of most competitors with 360 medical-grade LEDs. The iRestore Elite features their most advanced hair regrowth technology equipped with trademark Vixo lasers. Now, what I love about them is how easy they are to use. You could just sit on a couch. You put one either on your head or the other on your face and you press play. That is it. And the really cool thing about the mask is it has 3 different wavelengths. It has red, infrared, which both support anti-aging, stimulate collagen, improve hyperpigmentation, and boost blood flow, and the blue light, which helps reduce blemishes, clear acne, prevent breakouts, and shrink pores. And unlike a lot of other masks where you have to switch modes, this one is the first on the market that allows you to use all 3 modes simultaneously. So iRestore is kicking off their President's Day sale with some big savings. And right now you can get the Elite plus Illumina Face Mask bundle at an exclusive deal when you use code mistrial at iRestore.com. That's mistrial at iRestore.com. Please support my show and tell them I sent you. Give your hair and skin the upgrade they deserve so you can feel confident and refreshed. Another child, a 12-year-old from Venezuela who is living in Texas, has been detained for 60 days, says, quote, more than 60 days going to the doctor, and that the only thing they tell you is to drink more water. And the worst thing is that it seems the water is what makes people sick here, end quote. A 12-year-old. This is unconstitutional, amounts to cruel and unusual punishment. A 9-year-old from Colombia has been detained for 113 days and says in the letter, me and Dilly am not happy. Please get me out of here to Colombia. Just wants to go back to Colombia because America is detaining them. America is this awful. And I've spoken before about a good friend of mine who self-deported despite being in this country for years. He was an American refugee because he was scared about this exact type of thing, being unlawfully detained or unlawfully shipped to a third world country. Imagine all the people out there that this is happening to, but they are too afraid to speak up. Thankfully, ProPublica is helping bring and amplify the voices. Us here at MeidasTouch also trying to amplify and speak up for people who feel too afraid to speak up or do not have the ability to do so in this moment. This is why you have to abolish ICE, because it's not a matter of creating better detainment centers. It's about not detaining people for immigration infractions or detaining people because they haven't completed their immigration process, or detaining them because you don't like their accent or the way they look or where they work. This is why you have to abolish ICE, not just reform it, because there is no reason to detain people when there is a valid way to speed up an immigration process and decide if somebody should legally be here or not. My name is Dina Doll. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Be sure to free subscribe. We are trying to cover so many of these very important things. Be sure to also follow the Mistrial podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and check out the Mistrial sponsors in the description below. So grateful for my sponsors because they do not censor what I have to say, which is so incredibly important in this moment.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.